Hello, and this cable is annoying. Hello and welcome. It's time for Mousesports and Dignitas on Mirage, and I think that's going to be a fairly interesting one. Both teams like this map quite a lot. Dignitas, it used to be one of their mainstays, well, and it still is perhaps. Let's unmute. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually kind of surprised by the fact that Mousesports wanted to go into Mirage versus Mouse wanted to go into Mirage versus Dignitas simply because of what you said. It has been one of their mainstay maps. As of late, they've been gravitating more towards, or leaning more towards Cobble and Nuke as their go-to picks. But for the better part of it, Dignitas have taken down some titans really on on Mirage in the past. Let's just pick one. I have no idea. I can't see.
So what are these, Halvor?
This is pepperkakor, or gingerbread cookies.
Nice.
There we go. They are nice. They have a very distinct smell to them as well. But, I mean, I like them.
I have no idea what you were saying before. Things
happen.
Came in with a...
James happened. No, but I'm surprised that Mousesports wanted to go into Mirage of all maps because it has been such a good map for Dignitas in the past, and it's not like they've been putting it on the shelf and just leaving it, collect dust. They have been playing it fairly regularly as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to deal with it. Dignitas on their end, though, they haven't had the best of results early today. Got knocked out of DreamHack, which is definitely not a part of their plan. So maybe they're feeling a tiny bit frustrated and won't necessarily play up to the level. But just on paper and how teams have performed as of late, I would have to say that Dignitas have to be favorites for this.
Mousesports is going to go straight into the B-bomb sites. And so far, pretty much everybody's made it there without anyone dying just yet. But there you go. We get a torrent of frags coming in as Mousesports get the defense going onto that B-bomb site. And Dignitas, they were fast onto that B site for the retake effort, but largely they've come up very short. Speaking of short config, that's where he's going to come from, but he's only good for one. And Magisk is coming in from shop, as you can see. Got some bog roll on the left there. Empty till, a coffee mug. And he just does not like his chances. He does not like his chances, but maybe he can get a couple kills just to get some bonus money going into the next round. But this has been somewhat of a failure for Dignitas, and it can happen on a pistol round.
Yes, and well, Magisk, if he actually, well, okay, he's racking up frags here. The smart thing he can do at this point is just hold on to it because he does have an untouched Kevlar. So that means when he wants to buy up an upcoming round, well, okay, so he kind of messed up that up for himself, standing too close to the bomb. So now he can't get that $350 upgrade on his Kevlar if they opt to actually force buy into this. Dignitas will be one of those teams who don't necessarily always commit fully to these kind of buys, but Magic's and the rest of the gang are going to do so. So UMP onto him, and that's off the back of those. Oh, actually, that's been dropped for him as well. Only good for one frag, though.
Yeah, he still has a lot of money left after that. cajunb will pick up the UMP. chrisJ is searching. chrisJ will not find. chrisJ and Denis will not find. cajunb makes 2 frags with the UMP, and all of a sudden, we have a 2-on-2 on our hands. cajunb will upgrade happily to the AK-47. The Kalashnikov comes out. And Mousesports will have to make their way towards B. Spiidi is the scout, and he's going to find that his suspicions of a free B bomb site are ultimately correct as he arrives upon the sites. And in comes NiKo as well from the apartments. But largely, Dignitas have worked this out. cajunb will stick his head too far out, and he will get it promptly shot off by Spiidi. RUBINO now is the man with the plan. Unfortunately, the aim punch makes life a little bit harder, but still decent damage. 3 kills, all with a UMP, in fact. So additional money made from the SMG bonus.
Yeah, you can see Cajun sitting on 4.6k. Magisk also was sitting at 3.4. He decides to buy up with 5.7 and some Kevlar. So a minimal investment in from those two, seeing how they did get the cash to splash for it. And a bit of an A stack here. Mouse, on the other hand, quick push into mid, gaining control early on, using a couple of Molotovs to just make sure they don't run into any sort of shenanigans in connector.
Like how we are seeing the money used by Dignitas. We see Magic's actually investing in Kevlar, getting the 5.7. So they are managing their money. Some players have a bit more of investment than others, and they're kind of playing around that somewhat. That's cool. That's cool. I like it.
Definitely is, and I like the fact that Mousesports, they poke and prod, they find a kill on Cajun, and then manage to dink up RUBINO pretty heavily, but they don't necessarily commit to the A bomb side either way. They do have that sense of suspicion that there might be a stack coming in from Dignitas, which makes sense seeing how they don't really have too much utility or weaponry to work with. Oh, and Config's gonna almost sneak his way past loWel there, making the jump from CPL over towards that catwalk rafter. And now, Magic Boy being the only one left. Honestly, if he hasn't taken any damage, which he hasn't, he actually might just hold on to that Kevlar, but he's going to run into loWel. That's another kill in the book for him, so he racks up a bit of money as well. He's going to be able to hold on to that UMP going into the first buy round as well.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas, they'll be a little bit sad they didn't get more done in that round, that's for sure, especially considering how absolutely well the first, or the second and third round went. Oh, sorry, the first and second round for money, at least. Even though they lost the rounds, they did make some cash, get some economic damage in there, but Mousesports recovered somewhat now, and we'll see cajunb largely denied in middle due to the smoking efforts of Mousesports. And I'm quite curious how Mousesports mid will look like, how their mid takes will look, how the coordination will look against Dignitas on the T side.
Yeah, no, in their previous games on Mirage, they haven't looked too hot, honestly.
Yep.
Have been a bit all over the place, and Dignitas are a team that don't necessarily need to fight for mid control. And in that sense, they're similar to how Astralis used to be on this map, playing very passively and become completely fine with the fact that they don't find initial picks to kind of break up the firepower that the T's have. Now for Mousesports, obviously with them trying to get mid control, they obviously want to find that first pick to open up things, create rotations on the CT side, which is going to make their job a whole lot easier. But Dignitas just not willing to budge. They have used quite a bit of utility though, and that goes into the favor of Dignitas. RUBINO will be able to find Spiidi as he moves up the ladder. That does break the deadlock.
Yeah, so passive here, very deep angle from RUBINO coming out now, and it's, again, like spots that may have been previously checked are no longer clear due to how Dignitas have been playing this, but they are largely just getting fragged. Although, we're getting some kills back here as well as the effort from Dignitas comes back from B, swings around to A. However, their positions are largely understood. Both players were spotted, and NiKo able to drop RUBINO at distance. MSL, looking to get the trade there. Perhaps did not know exactly where NiKo was, or just looking for the additional player, but that's going to be around picked up by Mousesports. And as you say, I mean, Dignitas played it very passively, and it's not, I mean, it had opportunities to work out better.
Oh, absolutely. And with RUBINO finding Spiidi, sure, Denis finds one frag on his own, and pretty much at the same time. But Spiidi gets taken down to 6 HP. So even though they're even in manpower, the health advantage lies with Dignitas for a better part there. But just a solid and committed push up the connector from Mousesports gives them the advantage. Again, it's back to Eco Town for the Danes. Deagle and Kevlar picked up on RUBINO. Like Keva as well, picked up on Magic Boy. But I'm liking this from Mousesports. They're just taking it nice and slowly, not interested in running into the same kind of an issue they did on the first anti-eco round, where they more or less blindly went towards A, ran into a bit of a stack, and at least Cajun and Magic with UMPs. They're playing this as safely as they humanly can.
And Mousesports do have a bit of a reputation to losing a bit too much in spots where they should be better off. Looking for Dignitas to offer themselves up, but Dignitas are not doing that just yet.
MSL feeling an itch together with the RUBINO. Not going to find a kill. Bear, yeah, doesn't really do any significant damage either to loWel, and they will lose a man for it. MSL gets taken out to 33 HP. And this is going to give Mousesports that amount of space that they felt like they needed before they execute towards the site.
Yeah, so now they just have to finish things off towards A. And so far, so good. Entry's looking nice. Molotov even with a quick kill on config. So pretty much over here. Mousesports using all the time in the world.
Yeah, there's no reason for them not to. I mean, you don't have to emulate G2 in that sense.
I do like, I'm a fan of the fast... Ooh. Okay, so I'm a fan of the fast players that you see out of your NRPs and your Dignitas is actually for anti-force plays, anti-ecos, just because then the CTs get less room to work with, they get less time to move around. But this works as well.
I think it's something you alluded to as well, the fact that you don't want to get stuck in a position where you do the same thing over and over again, because at that point you become predictable. And that might be Mousesports getting a bit of a scare in that first anti-eco and then thinking, well, now we're just going to play it as safe as possible. Oh, Magisk with a tiny gap in the smoke there towards Pit finds the first frag onto loWel, so finally an opening that's not traded in the favor of Dignitas. But as I say that, NiKo finds MSL, but quick trades all around really for Dignitas here. And that ace split from Mousesports doesn't really ever get going.
Yeah, really fast response caused by Magisk's first kill. Oh, the Flames will get him eventually. But too many players lost here for Mousesports, unless chrisJ can find himself 3. He might be able to do that. There's number 1. cajunb goes down by the bench. And now it's time, soon time for Mousesports' chrisJ to perhaps find another option, another avenue for the push. He's worried about the flanking potential here. And it's an awkward angle, because, or awkward position because of the bomb is down by Sandwich. That's really the big issue for Chris. If he had the bomb here, I think this would be anyone's, but it's not the case.
And I think that's it's the same reasoning that Dignitas have as well. They know that they have the bomb in such a good position, so there's no need for them to split up. They don't have to do anything drastic. Chris, though, decided to go for a bit of a detour, and this could actually catch one of the Dignitas members off guard at least. RUBINO just looks back towards connector.
Yeah, the problem is the scope sound as well.
Yeah.
And even if he would have tried to pick up an AK, like the AK was in middle, the player would have heard that as well. So it's kind of a catch-22 situation. You kind of have to stick with the AWP, and you kind of need to scope and unscope.
You need to scope at the top of mid, run all the way down with it. Not very beneficial if you want to clear corners.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yes, it's just a very tough situation for Chris to be in. And in addition to that, the fact that he's just gone from Pit for so long without any sort of presence there or making any sort of noise, that will eventually tickle the fancies of Dignitas to actually check around other places for a potential rotate. But Mousesports, having won 5 rounds in a row, not really hurting for money as of just yet. And Dignitas, for them, this is a massive round. Going down here would be absolutely disaster. NiKo's just going to casually walk up onto A. Finds cajunb. That's the opening that he needed, but Magisk Boy already all around him. NiKo just somehow had a hunch for that. I'm not sure if Magisk actually ran to the point where that alerted NiKo or not, but at least crisis averted for the Danes so far.
Yeah, maybe just seeing that the bomb site was so open after that first kill, no trade fragger popping out. He's like, where is the second player? Could be.
Should be one more here.
Could be that too, and that allows for 1 for 1. Ultimately favorable for Mousesports, especially now as chrisJ pushes into that B bomb site. It's MSL only with 1 on the defense. That's not good enough, as Dignitas will scramble to the shop area. Both players, in fact, or actually no, it seems that Magisk will go towards short. But it's going to be hard to get in there. It's definitely going to be hard to get in there.
Yeah, only 1 flash as well. Luckily for Dignitas, they don't have any opposing utility in that sense to go up against, but 3 men should be tough enough.
This is a great start for Mousesports so far.
Yeah.
It's always hard to place Mousesports, but when they get a good start, they definitely have potential to have very, very strong results. I always felt like Mousesports were a team like that, where it's like if they're a team that I feel like if you put them in spots where they have to make marginal decisions, I always feel like they make the wrong one, the worst decisions. Like they'll make bad economic decisions and put themselves in really bad spots. I think that's the classic one on the CT side, where you see them on the CT side of a Mirage, let's say, and then they lose the pistol round, and then they do a force buy, they lose damage, and they're like, oh, let's just do another force buy or something. You know, something that ruins their own economy for a tiny gamble, or for a gamble that's just not in the long term worth it, instead of trusting their own buys. And like then it keeps like chrisJ off the open side. Like stuff like that is something that we used to see a lot from them.
And gradually getting better.
And yeah, and if they get a good start where they don't get put in those positions to have those decisions in the first place, we see better results. And I like, this is the mix-up we're talking about. We're saying like you don't want to play it so all the time, you don't want to stay predictable. We're seeing a super fast anti-eco after a very slow one. So that's awesome from Mousesports.
Changing things up nicely here, and Dignitas not really getting a good foothold in this game so far. Even in that last buy round, you could see that there was a bit of a disconnect between MSL and RUBINO. The fact that MSL held a more passive angle than it seemed like RUBINO thought of, so he was open from catwalk as Chris walks around. And that just kind of makes everything spiral out of control. And Dignitas, they have to get on this very quickly, and it's not like, because they have invested into this round as well, you can see Magisk sitting on 5-7 and head cav, they're not going to have any money really going into this next round, and that's also something that is rather untypical for them. They have, as of late, been very good at just being, well, kind of stoic with their money in the sense that they want to hold on to whatever they can, so you know, they can get as many buy rounds as possible. In this scenario, they're not really there. It's going to be interesting. Because a config sitting at 5K, Magisk at 2.2. So it's going to be another eco coming in from Dignitas. And this game is starting to run away from them. They definitely have a good T side, but obviously there's a limit to how much space you can give to a team like Mousesports. Because while they're just dropping rounds as well, this also puts Mousesports in a situation where they'll never be broken properly in terms of money. Well, pop flash from NiKo doesn't quite work, so Magisk's going to pick up the first frag. Also get an AK for his trouble. Drops off to 5-7 to cajunb. And I think a lot of this is going to have to, if Dignitas are going to find any sort of success here, it's going to have to be off of aggression from Magisk. Well, he's going to have to be active with that AK, see if he can find picks.
Well, MSL's going to spot a few players there. The rotation starts to come in from Dignitas. So Mousesports, are they going to go with this? Looks like they're going to back away, actually. And there is a bunch of time left, so this is fine. This is fine. Now, they have 3 Molotovs, 3 smokes, 3 flashbangs, well, 4 actually. Plenty of utility to get them a nice stronghold of A, or stranglehold of A.
Yeah. I think this is a bit too passive for Dignitas, honestly. Sure, they're one man up, but they have no real weaponry to speak of. So I'm surprised the fact that they're willing to play this passively and basically allow Mousesports to have all the space in the world. Because even if you're gambling towards the right side, holding off an execute with limited utility is very, very hard.
I think Config's quite disappointed so far. Nothing's connecting for poor Config. However, he's still somehow alive, hasn't been touched, and his teammates are picking up the kills for him. Mousesports struggling desperately to get into this bomb site. It's just nothing is what they just cannot get any entries, and that's a big problem. I mean, they put themselves in a position where, again, they were looking for the shots instead of eliminating possibilities with the grenades to allow them guaranteed movements. Yeah. Especially if you consider Dignitas were playing at ranges there. It's not as if they were stopping them close on the choke points.
Exactly. So in an ideal world, there's nothing really to deny Mousesports a chance to get up on the bomb site. They just opted to hold back as soon as Magisk finds one frag. It seems like it completely stuns the Mousesports team. Yeah. And instead of pushing up forward towards side, putting Config under more pressure and potentially getting control over it, Dignitas get the chance to have everyone on their side rotate over before anyone from Mousesports even make it to a site.
And that's the kind of hiccup that's really sad for Mousesports, because it was all going so smoothly for them, and that's a round that they should always win. They would be 8-1, which is...
But this is also the micro decisions you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like you should know what you're supposed to do in that kind of a situation. If you're Mousesports, you need to push onto the site, don't get bogged down, and they do so either way.
It is kind of classic Mousesports, actually, to lose a round in that fashion. Yeah. But perhaps they can mount a recovery. They did lose Spiidi early on, and that is a problem. And I just love how Magisk is just facing in the open here. I think that's actually quite cool, because it's actually some sort of an off angle in some respects. And in comes the peek from Denis and loWel. It's going to be pretty good. Damage was done. So Dignitas still with a strong chance, and there is a nice kill coming out from cajunb. It's actually very hard to cross now. The health is very, very low. If there's bullets through the smoke, surely... Oh man, Config just barely unable to find these players through the smoke. MSL will go back in. He's going to find himself a Denis. And now it's just loWel and NiKo. Bomb is ticking now, so they've given themselves a chance. I honestly didn't think they were even going to get the bomb planted. loWel in the corner, and that's where he will remain. A bloodied mess. thanks to the likes of MSL as the defuse comes in, and Dignitas will take the round. And Mousesports, they've lost grip of it. And again, they're going to be really regretting that, well, 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, crucial mistake of not pushing up. But like we said, they had such a good start to the game, so money-wise, they're still going to be fine for now. Get a little on Denis, but still utility to, you know, to shake a stick at, and Chris is going to have an op as well. So this should be enough for an execute.
They're going in towards B-Apps right now. There's no presence from Mousesports anywhere else on the map. Kind of looking towards Chris to get an opening kill. And will there be something on the angle? MSL able to jump across unbeknownst to chrisJ, I think. Let's see if he can actually find something here. It's such a common spot that MSL is standing in that we may see Mousesports just like kind of check it, but maybe some nades will come in a timely way for Dignitas to catch all these Mousesports players who do seem to be just going for an explosion play onto this B-bomb site. So walking all the way up here, contact is what they will rush on.
Yeah, and they're holding, NiKo's holding an angle now, so even though Chris scopes up, well, kind of goes awry there for him. Nice spray, but the idea there is NiKo's holding an angle, so even though Chris moves forward and scopes up to the point where MSL in his position can't hear that, NiKo's going to be able to get that trade as MSL peeks out to find initially the opper, but NiKo losing that duel, that sends things a bit awry for Mousesports, and well, they're going to get a bomb plant, but not around.
Yeah, it was a great crossfire situation between MSL and RUBINO from Catwalk, so Dignitas are, I mean, you give them an inch, and they are taking a mile indeed, taking a lot of space away.
Now it's going to be interesting to see that you see that there is some money on Mousesports. Obviously, if they decide to buy up now with Galils and everything, it's not going to be too much utility to work off of, and definitely no op on chrisJ either. So they might have to go for a bit of an eco here. Seems like they're gonna do a partial buy with Tech9s and a couple of Kevlars picked up. But for the better part, this should be around that Dignitas can close out rather easily, and they would hope to do so because they've gone up to a double op setup here. RUBINO aggressively on short actually with that op.
Yeah, I'm still sad for Mousesports. I still feel like they could have got more out of this, but
oh yeah,
the thing is that Dignitas' class at the moment is just going to definitely shine through, and it is. Here comes the push to Tech9. MSL just not ready for that at all. Grenade in hand. A nice flick comes in from RUBINO. Traded though by NiKo as cajunb comes from the shop, and this is looking great for the Danes. I mean, they did get the bomb down though, did Mousesports, and with the round loss bonus starting to accrue to 4 rounds after this, I think it's going to be a lot of cash for them. I think, what, like 3,800 or something? No, 3,700.
Yeah, no, it's gonna. Well, it's not the 5th round. It's the 3rd round. Well, this would be the
oh, so it's not the 4th round. Okay, I did the 4th.
Yeah, this was the 4th round. They lost.
Oh yeah, so it should be 3,700 they get with the bomb plant bonus. 3,700 all around. So some good money made by Mousesports. They made back the investment, and you can see the result. chrisJ on the AWP. He's got 3 frags so far. Actually, chrisJ has been silent even in their success.
Yeah, I haven't had I feel like a lot of it has been actually loWel. loWel's been doing a really good job in the early stages of this match. He's just in general been very like a positive surprise for Mousesports ever since he came in for Oscar. We're going to see some initial aggression actually coming in from MSL. We haven't seen too much of that. Back when Config used to play that B-Apps area for Dignitas, you'd see that pretty much every single round. But MSL a bit more, I guess, restrained in that sense.
Yeah, the power of the AK by the, versus the M4 there. Magic hit NiKo first, but they both hit each other in the head with the first bullet.
Yeah.
And Magic was faster, but NiKo has an AK, so GG. Sad times for Magic.
Look at the aggression again, though. Config going for round 2. Oh, that is going to be a giveaway.
Yeah, how does NiKo even just expect? Or does he expect?
I don't know. He doesn't expect. I'm not sure why he would throw the flash in there, unless he was holding the angle, but he's going to get punished for it here in a matter of seconds. Or is he actually just going to continuously sneak by? This
is really important as well, because NiKo was sort of a danger man there as this push was coming into connector. Oh, that's a big frag there from Denis. Now, what do Mousesports do? At the moment they cut off, do they just, the first two players in connected, they try to just go forwards by themselves? Looks like they might do that. Config will get an opportunity to get some frags in there. There's the first one, takes down Chris and Denis, and that's the problem. That Molotov did actually a lot of work. Forced Mousesports into a decision where they went 2 versus 1, and you know, most of the time you're thinking that's great. But Config, he's on for the ace at this point. With the 4 frags that he has done so much damage to Mousesports and has single-handedly dismantled the round.
Yeah, and that initial push, pretty much, that wraparound that he has to take out NiKo, basically removes any sort of threat from any other instances of the map. Like, Dignitas know that the only place they're going to be pressured from towards A is connector. And that makes the life of them, well, the life of the Danes so much easier. And you can tell they just can dump all their utility in towards that place. And, well, Config follows it up with 3 more kills, which isn't a bad thing by any means. But I think at that point he'd already kind of done his job. NiKo goes down. RUBINO as well. RUBINO opping in mid this time. He's actually holding on to the op over cajunb.
So 3 fast frags for Dignitas. There you go. Bomb is down early in the round from Mousesports, and it may perhaps stay there for, well, until the next round, because Mousesports, they're 2 against 5. In this kind of scenario, there's not a huge amount that you can usually accomplish. It takes big mistakes from the CT side, of course, but you can move more freely oftentimes, because the CT sides tend to go a bit more passive in these situations, not wanting to take any risks because they have already such a big advantage. Yep. They can just sit on that.
Yeah, it does allow you a bit of free map control. The problem is obviously that you have so much to work through, and you have only so many grenades and so much HP to do it with.
And you also want to keep that element of surprise as well if you can.
Yeah, and that's going to be really tough. loWel has seen Config here, but if Config's smart, he's just going to sit back and not really take that fight. He's actually going to try to make it out.
Yeah, I was going to say, he never really needs to peek there.
Yeah.
He's got 2 teammates sitting on B. There's like literally nothing that is possible for loWel, but still.
Works
7 to 7.
And to think of this, that all of this started off that one micro decision mistake from Mousesports.
Oh, yeah. That's absolutely true. I always wonder as well with Mousesports and chrisJ on the T side, I always wonder if they struggle to use him as well as they could on T side AWP of Mirage.
Yeah.
Almost want to see him on the AK sometimes, just because even though he's the AWP that's capable of, well, I'll hold that thought for now, because we have the push coming into the A-bomb site. cajunb with the first frag. Got to be fast for the second, but he is not fast enough for chrisJ. RUBINO just boldly, brazenly coming in through the smoke there, and he takes one away.
Look at Config, though, on the wraparound once again. Look at it for Mousesports. Oh, they've gotten NiKo inside the apartments. I'm not sure if Config's going to hear that. He's running around. Config's going to find the first frag onto loWel, and that leaves Denis alone. First frag onto Denis, now onto MSL. And now it's a war of attrition, and, well, given the plant, it's pretty much impossible for Config to know where NiKo's coming from. Well, now he does.
Can Config do this again? Oh, he goes for defuse. Oh, no, he's got it. He's got it. Oh, he doesn't. NiKo, it looked like he had no idea what was going on. He's blind. I thought the play worked, but NiKo had it right at the last second. I had to look how. Let's see how close this is.
It's a bit too close for comfort.
That is about 20th of a second, if that.
Yeah, one more missed bullet, and that's a round for Dignitas. But given how they started, I think they should be happy about where they ended up. 7 rounds on the CT side after going down 7 to 1. So on to the second round we go, and only 2 flashes picked up on the side of Dignitas. Well, smoke's already gone out towards mid, but look at this. Bit of a boost up from Mousesports.
Oh, chrisJ gets 2. Very even exchange. Spiidi on the sideline, but he's got teammates in tow. They're very quick on the response time. Very respectable response time. But the headshots are required, and NiKo is there to deliver. Taking everyone down, just RUBINO on 16 points of health. What are you going to do about that? Pulls out the burst. Feels like when a player pulls out the burst, they truly have lost hope.
That's when you try to turn the time back to 2008, and the burst fire was actually a viable thing to use on both the FAMAS and the Glock. That's pretty much, I think that, yeah, it's that kind of a Hail Mary.
I mean, the thing I miss about the Glock from like 1.6 is that 1.6 Glock was terrible, but the Glock at really close range was actually really good.
And you could jump with it.
And you could jump with it, yeah. But other than very, very close quarter combat, it sucked. And I felt like that was fine.
Yeah.
But anyways.
You digress.
We got Deagles now, very different to 1.6 Glocks. They do much damage, but the grenades do much damage as well. Mousesports have whittled down the health of Dignitas before Dignitas have even emerged through the smoke. A sad tale for them.
And with a bunch of SMGs on the side of Mousesports as well, there's a golden opportunity for them to be able to get some money. Config's gonna find Denis though, just casually walking up on Tetris. But ooh, nice shot from Magisk to chrisJ.
There are suddenly big problems here. NiKo, oh dear. Okay, they're lining up for Spiidi, that's okay. Spiidi needs to get 2 more though, and they are very low, as you said. That is the major issue for Dignitas, but they can get a bomb plant. Because if Spiidi goes for the push now, Config holds the angle just enough to delay Magic's, delay 4 Magics just at the very least, but the bomb will be allowed to be planted. And this headshot angle from Config, very smart to play the headshot angle here. Ooh, the taps come in and they're good from Spiidi. Very important. And Spiidi will close it down. 4 kills for him, but a bomb plant and 4 frags. Dignitas might force buy.
Yeah, they could very well force buy in this kind of situation, and I wouldn't put it past them to do so as well.
I think they should definitely do it.
And I'm baffled by how Mousesports are not able to actually do anything, because 99% of Dignitas, well, 80% to be exact, were tied on to below 50 HP before they'd even gotten close to the bomb site. And it's not like they immediately hit every single... it's not like they immediately hit every shot possible. It's just that Mousesports didn't capitalize on the opportunity that was given to them. NiKo does get a bit or is at the end of a poor timing in that sense. So he pulls up a nade the second Config comes up on Tetris to take down Denis. But other than that, they should be able to stabilize better in a situation like that.
As we can see as well, the buy from Dig is actually really good because we forget that Dignitas is a team. You sort of mentioned it previously. They don't tend to necessarily always just throw all their money into a force buy. Actually, they didn't even force buy the second round. They half bought. They spent half their money, so that means they actually can get full rifles with the bomb plant and the kills they had.
Yeah, we see more and more teams actually do that. Predominantly oppers, they will in a force buy round go, for example, for Deagle and no Kevlar. So it's a $700 commitment, but that's something you can live with. And Dignitas have kind of taken that to another extreme where, well, sometimes their entire team just goes for straight up Deagles, no Kev. And you can see they still do a ton of damage with them.
Yeah, that they do. Orb comes out onto chrisJ though, and oh my god, it's gone. It is gone, and it's gone. It's like that episode of South Park, Margaritaville, or whatever it's called. And it's gone. That was the ult for chrisJ there.
Oh, they do find one more frag though onto Magisk Boy with the loWel. And the problem for Dignitas now with this force buy, as is oftentimes a common theme, is that they don't really have any utility to get forward from this from these positions they find themselves in. They have at least gotten some map control for themselves. NiKo might get caught out here if RUBINO decides to step up. And there we go. Denis does find cajunb in the meantime, and that does drop the bomb. Config's not really in a position to help a lot for RUBINO here, so I think Config needs to work his way up towards connector, but that's going to be really hard to do with Denis lurking around.
And now, with that frag, RUBINO has to act. He has to be the main actor in the piece. He has to deliver the most impressive soliloquy in this chapter, but the chapter will be closed by Denis. Finds RUBINO in the open, a very tough position to deal with. And that's going to be an 11-7 scoreline. Mousesports, they are separating things, but I can't help but feel like with Mousesports, the story is never so simple. Even when they appear a bit dominant, it's never so simple.
No, I think the story here is that they could have had so much more than what they have. And there's always seems to be a bit of a caveat or an asterisk around whatever Mousesports do.
I think that's a very, very true statement. Oh yes. Oh
buddy.
no.
That's a CSGO grenade. Does a total of what?
4 damage. Oh no, 9.
9, yeah. Can't undersell it. But
and chrisJ gets a dink immediately.
That's a worthwhile trade.
So it's getting a little. I mean, it's not that awkward just yet. You can see. I like how. Okay, Mousesports have done well here. They've created space around Dignitas. That is good. That is how you do it. Although MSL will be able to overwhelm Denis with the help of his teammates. And it's a bit chaotic here, but again, the lack of Kevlar and the fact the bomb is now in no man's land should be good enough here for Mousesports to close it down. Okay. NiKo finds himself a cajunb, as well as, I think he saw config as well, so all the information is known, and it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time.
Yeah, this is going to be a case of where cajun pretty much just needs to sit still because a lot of the targets are going to be focused on him, so try to give config some space to move around here. Smoke's going to be dangerous to play around with NiKo on the other side.
Oh my god. Config stole the bomb away, and he's going to be, and everyone's on A. He might, maybe, possibly get a bomb plant. He's got 15 seconds to get to the plant spots.
Seems like Spiidi's onto it though.
There's a quick flashbang. He's going to get the plant. He's actually going to get a plant here. That's unreal. Yeah. Config could clutch this. He is one of the top performers for the team here. Oh, he spots the player jumping straight through the window. There's the flashbang. He's got no Kevlar. It's going to be headshots all the way. There's one, but there's 2 players around the corner. NiKo will get it done with a USP, and the defuse comes in. But an extra frag and a bomb plant. Dignitas, again, showing that Mousesports, that if there's ever a hole, they will find a way to expand that hole and really make it hurt. If there's a crack, maybe that would have been better.
No, I'm not sure. In any case, spy round coming in from Dignitas as well, with off the back of that bomb plant that config somehow managed to get a hold of. It's going to allow cajun to get up to an op, and they do have way more utility than what they had in the first 4 spy round.
Absolutely. It's a much better look.
And, well, Dignitas as well, similar to what Mousesports did in quite a few of their buy rounds here at the beginning of their T side. Setting up for mid control, and Mousesports doing, well, similar response really. Not interested in fighting for that mid control.
Yeah, again, I mean, it is so free, isn't it? I mean, cajunb is looking for a quick pick there, perhaps the AWP on the toll booth, but instead chrisJ is below the toll booth this time.
Oh, I think they heard, yeah. I think that grenade actually hit NiKo in window, and that's what prompted the shooting to start. So he's getting taken down to 42 HP. Obviously, with NiKo, with it being NiKo, it's not the end of the world. He can still do a ton of damage. And Mousesports still haven't been drawn out in any like awkward positions here. loWel's gonna find Magic Boy, and that's gonna be a big tell.
Yeah, that was a great info play that turned into a fragging opportunity that was very happily taken by the Mousesports players, and boom! Everyone has fallen for Dignitas. Really nice round in the end by Mousesports. As you said, they gave up a lot of space, but they weren't too overly passive. They did actually throw an aggression in right before, like when they had a suspicion, they tried to confirm the suspicion with the push and B-apps, got a frag, and as you say, it was enough of a tell for them to know what was coming.
Yeah, chrisJ is starting to get warm as well. Already surpassing the frag total he had on this T side. That's always a good sign if you're Mousesports. Oh, another force spy from Dignitas, and they're going to split A side really quickly. But even trade so far, NiKo still has control of his bomb towards pit. He's going to take down cajun as well, so he's on a bit of a tear here. Spiidi finds Magic Boy, and that leaves config all by himself in a 1v2 situation. Smoke fades at just the wrong time, and loWel ends it.
Yeah, caught in the jump was config. And now Mousesports really starting to run away with it, which is it feels good for me to see Mousesports able to push a lead. Because as I said, like often we can see holes in their gameplay, and Dignitas are a team that are great to get a lot out of that sort of thing. And again, as we said, if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile type deal. That's what we saw. I mean, looking at this, look how many rounds Mousesports could have had. This could have been such a dominant scoreline, but they're managing to have some good momentum here. Dignitas finding trouble, actually closing these rounds. Perhaps used to seeing more resistance in middle as well. Maybe more opportunities to be had for Dignitas, typically in a middle fight scenario, but Mousesports typically, have not been really all that much contesting it.
Yeah, they haven't been willing to indulge them. And you see actually a lot of teams being so accustomed to the fact that they run into people all the time in mid that when they don't really know where to go from there. Dignitas usually have pretty solid setups for how they want to take control over Cat and actually clear out the corners and ladder room, but not really utilizing it as of right now. As MSL pushes up connector just kind of on a whim. Finds 2 frags as well. Knew chrisJ's attention was diverted towards mid as he did that.
Yeah, and chrisJ kind of just not hitting his shots there. If chrisJ is able to make that frag and stay alive, it's a 3 versus 2 with a position of massive pressure with that AWP from jungle, which limits the positioning of the T's on the afterplant, but that's not the case. He whiffed some uncharacteristic shots, or he uncharacteristically whiffed some shots.
What are those stickers on Spiidi's gun?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But loWel comes in from the back, not happy with his performance in that engagement, but maybe he can make it up here. Redemption against cajunb? No. cajunb denies him, and the round goes to Dignitas. But they lose almost every single player. It's not been going well. The money is terrible for them. Config has a 35-50 after winning that round. Great stuff here from cajunb.
And the only saving grace really for Dignitas in this kind of scenario is the fact that they have been doing quite a bit of damage to Mousesports as well. In the meantime, even though they haven't been picking up rounds, they've been doing economic damage. So there will be a bit of a grace period here for them to try to stabilize their economy. And as Mousesports more or less go for a full eco, only Denis investing anything into this. And rather passive setup from Dignitas once again. A bit more aggressive from Mousesports. Mousesports have in the past been very aggressive towards mid and liking to put aggression on in early, well, in buy rounds, that type of thing, to just throw off their opponents. We haven't seen any of that so far today.
Spiidi's positioning is really nice. He's managed to find himself MSL on the flank. There's the dink. Gets the frag. Very smart that he takes the frag quickly, because obviously Config coming up from underpass would have stopped him from being able to make the frag eventually. And he's just going to try to harass it. Causes distraction. Nicely done by Spiidi. He's done so much great work here, allowing that extra frag to go into Config. And every little counts, especially if you're fighting back with such a weak economy as Dignitas are. We'll see how much that impacts them in the future, but Config needs a drop. So does... I mean, MSL doesn't need a drop, but if he wants to have grenades, he does.
Yes.
Unless he gets a Galil or Tech 9. So that's kind of an issue. So he will get himself a drop.
Yeah, but it's, like you said, the fact that Mousesports are able to get just that extra frag does a ton of damage to Dignitas in the long run. Well, Mousesports in their end don't have the greatest advice, but they do have an op on chrisJ. They have plenty of nades. It's only really Spiidi who is just sitting on lackluster equipment. And NiKo's going to push surprisingly aggressive here. Gets caught out by MSL.
Yeah, he seemed convinced a pop flash was coming.
Yeah.
He seemed absolutely convinced a pop flash was coming. And unfortunately for him, it wasn't in the end. But chrisJ, he's going to get a frag, which is good. Again, he's not been having the best Mirage of his life so far. And when NiKo goes down early, you definitely need people to step up on the team.
Definitely they do, and well, for now, MSL all by his lonesome in mid with the bomb. So I'm not really sure what the plan of Dignitas is here, if they want to commit towards the A bomb site. RUBINO puts down a smoke that's going to allow him to get up to Tetris without being spotted from the site. But if they find some frags here, I guess that's going to allow for Magic Boy and MSL to go up through connector. But this is a pretty decent hole that Mousesports has around here. Chris is kind of isolated on site, but there are 2 players not too far away from him to get anyone potentially crossing over towards the bomb site.
Yeah, look at chrisJ just scanning everything. Terminator mode finds himself MSL. Second flick comes in. He might not get another chance for a shot. He has to connect the next ones. There goes the Molotov. He's got nowhere to go, and he will burn. But the rest of the Dignitas players have fallen as well, leaving just cajunb against the masses. In he goes, past the smoke. Spiidi says no. 15-9. Mousesports 1 away now. And what a Mirage we're seeing out of them. A map that typically Dignitas finds so much favor on, a map that they find so much comfort on. It is not working out for them.
Yeah, and Mousesports showing a bit of different side from themselves. I think they've lost their last 4 games on Mirage as well. So this is definitely a welcome surprise. And the fact that they're doing it in a bit of a different manner as well. Not having to rely heavily on aggression on CT side. Able to play at a man deficit as well. And speaking of that aggression, once again, it comes out. Hasn't been good to them so far. Well, as I say that, NiKo's there to follow up on chrisJ's death. It ends up being a favorable trade, and Denis in a nice position here to chill off. Doesn't actually get the frag. But NiKo seems to just have a sonar device on these Dignitas players. Spiidi as well.
That's going to be it then. Mousesports 69, a fast one actually from Mousesports. You know, typically Mousesports games can be so slow, and it can be difficult for them against the likes of Dignitas, for example, and their form currently to really close down a game in that fashion without tripping up at some point. But they managed to do it here. This was pretty smooth overall, so quite impressive from the Mousesports guys.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest part, really, the fact that they actually tripped up once during this game, and that allowed for the big run that Dignitas has had. But even so, they're able to recuperate and get back into it and show a really solid CT side.
All right, well, we'll be back very shortly, guys, with the second map between Dig and Mousesports.
This time.